This podcast is brought to you by ITV Studios. From edge-of-your-seat drama to entertainment with serious buzz, we've got it all and then some. Want in? Head to itvstudios.com or grab the ITV Studios Watch Anywhere app to stream full episodes anytime, even offline. Big drama, bold formats, real stories, all under one roof from ITV Studios.
Step into the world of digital-first production at NextWave, the brand new summit launching in Halle, Germany, this October. Documentary Campus presents NextWave, the digital-first production summit at Industry Training Day. Curated by me, Justin Crosby, NextWave brings together innovators and decision-makers driving today's digital-first production economy. Sessions will explore launching successful YouTube channels, moving from TV to digital production, monetizing catalogue content, transforming broadcast content for streaming platforms, building brand partnerships, and navigating the new world of commissioning. NextWave is part of the Documentary Campus Industry Training Days, alongside the renowned Master School pitching event, creating a powerful space where filmmakers and executives connect, exchange ideas, and unlock market-ready opportunities. Join us in Halle, Germany on October the 31st and November the 1st. Register now at documentary-campus.com. That's documentary-campus.com. Hi, I'm Justin Crosby and welcome to this week's telecast. My guests this week are next generation documentary maker Zandland's Ben Zand and Documentary Campus CEO Donata van Perfall, as we discuss Ben's new self-funded series Human, and Donata gives us the background to the Documentary Campus Master School programme and November's NextWave Digital First Documentary Summit that we're collaborating on. It's all coming up on this week's telecast. So I'm here with Ben Zand at the premiere of Human, which is a brand new YouTube series that is self-funded, a really bold move from Zandland. And Ben, this is something that we talked about originally back on telecast. I don't know how long ago, it might be even be a year or so ago.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I remember talking about it then. It was still very much kind of in the sights, but at that point we hadn't quite figured out, the complete format / hook / premise / actually importantly the production pipeline. How it would actually be made. So it's nice to have made some films that we're going to release.
Yeah, well, it's amazing, some of the films that we've just seen, and I will talk about the actual content of the series in a second. But overall, moving into this self-funded documentary space, which is, I think, for many people, the future of documentary, but getting documentaries funded by networks at the best of times is hard, right? How are you going to wean yourself off the crack of network commissions and into self-funded documentary making?
That's actually a fantastic question, and the reason it's a good question is because conventional commissioning is very distracting, understandably. It makes a lot of sense theoretically, and it's a much simpler process theoretically in terms of I'll come up with an idea, these people will pay me up front for said idea, and I'll make a production fee on top. So in trying to do something like Human and create our own content, a big part of it is weaning yourself off the crack, trying to stop being so distracted by conventional TV, because the thing is about self-funding something, it's just all risk. It's terrifying. You're kind of putting your own money in front. So a big part of my brain is, in terms of strategizing the future of the business, is think less time about conventional TV, but enough time to keep the funding for the time being, whilst putting a lot of time into self-funded content and revenue streams off the back of that. So I will do it by launching Human first and foremost, because that'll open up, some practical data we can use to say, okay, here's how much you spent per episode. A big part of it is just a big beta testing mode. It's like we've done something that, there's risk associated, but it's not super high risk because it's not insanely expensive. We've done it in an area of content we make a lot in, so we know how to make this type of content for not huge amounts of cash. it's in an area of content we have pre-existing data in, because we've made a lot of this stuff before in the digital realm that's done well. So it's like, okay, let's do it there. Let's do it with the kind of teams that we know have made this type of content before. And we've now banked 12 films. We're still filming more. And we're going to release those films over the next 6 months. We're actually going to be releasing 2 a month for the first 3 months. So at that point, we'll have a huge amount of data to pull back. We'll be able to start approaching brands in a more kind of coherent way. And we're also having conversations around acquiring individual episodes to TV organisations. So a lot of that sense around recouping the cash we've spent is already there. My big push now is I want to launch a lot more of these brands, which is a conversation with investors on the one hand, and banking as much data as we can around human, because we'll be able to practically say, here's what we do. And I think, the thought process initially was do something in a space that we have an unfair advantage in. We know how to make this type of content. Not lots of people do. So let's focus there. And then once we have big success there, we can start looking into other streams.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell us about Human then, the series and the premise of it, because it really, as you say, I think it really dials into your sweet spot, which you've become known for. But for people that don't know about Zandland and the films that you've made before, tell us about that and what Human is.
Yeah, the premise was there's a large audience of underserved, factual-oriented, documentary-oriented individuals on YouTube looking to understand the world. They may have previously watched something like Vice, and then Vice ceased to exist. They may have watched Vox largely ceased to exist. And now they watch individual creators like Johnny Harris or Cleo Abraham. And they're trying to kind of get their fix on the world, but they don't want to be told what to think. And they're currently being served a bunch of kind of largely partisan, controversial content from a bunch of influencers and creators who don't have necessarily the journalistic training that we do, and ultimately can't necessarily get access to the same places we can due to the fact that most of our team are kind of journalists and producers who have been making this content for years. So the rationale was, we have a unique proposition in this space. We know how to make content not for a huge amount of money in this space, and we think there's a gap of human first content, which is content that is empathetic, understanding, non-judgmental, trying to be as objective as you can realistically be, because you can't be 100% objective, it's very difficult. So we were like, let's make a series. What else will we call it other than Human, because the series is about the humans that exist. And we were like, let's just back it ourselves and let's try and figure out a way that we do this in a kind of sustainable way. So the initial plan was 1 a month. The filming days are literally like, each episode is 2 filming days with 1 studio day. Then we're trying to edit it in 2 weeks. That's not prohibitive. That's completely achievable. And then the current restriction is on my time, in all honesty. But my time could max out at, I'd say, probably 30 films a year, because you only have to film for 2 days per episode. But then the next plan is new creators, new strands under the Zandland universe.
So take us through some of the highlights of Human. We've just seen an amazing documentary, 20 minute or so in length, focused on an Afrikaan community, white-only community in South Africa, which you'll see. I think it's going to be launching in early October. Is that right?
It's a week tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. So
October 2nd.
October 2nd. So tell us about that episode, and also, the common strand that's running through the series, those 12 films that you've already shot.
Yeah, so the best I can describe it is that it is about the human experience. So we touch on issues of identity, issues of sex, issues of race, issues of class, issues of mental health. The Clairefontaine whites only town looks at race. It's a group of Afrikaners who feel they don't have a place in South Africa anymore, so they've created their own exclusive community. One of the episodes is in a remote tribe in Africa, and that one's looking at whether we'd all be happier living as hunter-gatherers. Maybe we should just stop using our phone. What's it like going to a place that has no technology? One of them is about nudism. What's it like if we just rid ourselves of status and clothes? Would you be happier? One of them's about sexuality in a brothel, about what's it like to kind of be someone who sells your body for sex. What does that feel like? One of them is about kind of gang membership in Chicago. We've got so many of them at this point, trying to reel them off. One's about life in jail. It's about incarceration in America. It's a two-part of that one because we filmed for a bunch of days. We've got exclusive access to a jail, and we were like, oh my God. And sometimes you're pulled by the access because you're like, oh my God, this is incredible. And the one is about Israel and Palestine, understanding what it's like to live in the shadow of atrocities as an individual in the most complicated of places. So we're not afraid to touch on really tricky topics, but we're also trying to balance it with, we need to be able to have brands associate themselves with the content. Some of that's easier than others, but at the core of it is just like, what is it like to be human? They're not meant to be controversial. Some of them are inherently a little bit controversial. It's impossible to escape that. But most of them aren't. Most of them are just like, it's a person living through time in a world that's getting increasingly extreme, and we're trying to be the bit of rationality in the middle of all that.
Yeah, and what's really I think enjoyable for me as a viewer watching it is that it's non-judgmental. I mean, you're approaching, like we've just seen as I say, 20-minute film about you being in Clairefontaine, the white South African-only town, and I think you clearly have to approach that with a very open mind and non-judgmental. Equally, getting access to some of these more extreme, many people would class them as extreme communities or groups, must be tricky. I mean, there's so many questions I want to ask you about. First of all, has this always been your plan to create human? I mean, I know it was because of our original conversation on telecast, which you can check out on a past episode, but taking yourself away from the commissioner, network commissioner roundabout, if you like, and relying on other people. I mean, is it particularly freeing? Are you approaching this in a very different way, in the sense that you are self-funding it, and therefore there's no gatekeepers, there's nobody to tell you, give you any edit points and everything? How freeing and different is that from working from a normal network commission?
I mean, it's unbelievably freeing, and I think the way I see Zand is we're a content studio. We fund the content that we think is interesting, even if that's a big Netflix pitch. I'm going into Netflix tomorrow to talk about a show that seems very promising. It's content we've started filming anyway. So no matter what we do, we back it because we believe in it, and we'll find a way for that content to exist. That's not always the case, but that's the mindset of everyone who works, which is like, we do this because we believe in that story. Regardless, we're not going to be told it's a good story. We're going to do it if we think it's a good story. This is the purest form of that, because we literally do the stories we want. Nobody tells us what to do. We just create it. It's fantastic. There's kind of, eventually that will change because the audience will tell us. The audience will be the commissioners. They'll start to tell us what they like and don't like, and we'll start to be pulled in certain ways through the responses to the content. But it's freeing because, and I'd say just the biggest and most empowering thing about it genuinely is the mental impact, because development in a TV sense can be so disempowering. You feel as though you're just a victim of circumstance, to the whims and movements of a TV industry, to what a commissioner wants. This is just, I believe in this story. I think this will be a good story. And as a creative, you need that sense of identity. You need to have a barometer of what you know works. So I think that's been the most exciting part of it.
So tell me about the economics of this. So you've got a successful production company. It's still a young production company, but are you basically ploughing the profits of your network commissions into this as a bet? Basically, this is your future focus strategy now. I mean, and tell us about Zandland's digital first strategy, because it's very much about multiple revenue streams, I imagine.
Yeah, so in terms of how it's funded, Yeah, as it currently stands, we're funding it through the profits that we make from our commissions. It's not all the profits we make because we still need to do TV development and we still need to do other things, but a portion of profits, and it's mapped out. We kind of map out for like a 6-month time period, at a time. And then, the kind of revenue streams are what you can imagine. It's like a combination of AdSense, brand partnerships, TV acquisitions, merchandise, live events, Patreon subscriptions. So those different things will earn money at different times. So in the immediate term, we're looking for TV acquisitions will be a very kind of immediate. We're already having conversations, people who want to buy individual shows. Great. Depending on the money, it'll either be geo-blocked in certain areas or it'll be that they get first run of some of the content. As it then goes on, it'll be brand partnerships, kind of sponsors on specific shows. And the idea is we keep the individual episodes as minimal in cost as humanly possible so that the margin can be as high as possible. It might be initially a show costs 20k and we make 30k. And then it starts to scale up as time goes on because the audience gets bigger, the brand partnerships get bigger. We have more and more shows that we start to be able to kind of leverage. And then, there's an element of that which is that will then result in conventional TV partnerships, but that actually isn't the ambition.
So actually, just tapping into that aspect as well. So obviously, you're shooting and producing around about 20-minute documentary shows.
20 to 40 minutes.
20 to 40. Okay, so it's a pretty wide range. It's as long or short as the story needs to be.
They'll map out as effectively TV times. So, like for example, Clairefontaine's about 24 minutes, which is like a TV slot with adverts, and Israel's about 47 minutes, which is a TV hour. Because we are aiming that they can be slotted into TV shows.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my next question. Is presumably you've got enough content for every single episode that can scale up to be a TV show, and it's then shot to TV quality that you can then work with a distribution company to actually take that for linear.
They look like TV shows, And I think what we've done, a lot of it is about being intelligent in your approach, which is, as you can see, there's a studio element in it where I'm sitting there talking to camera. That's because that's cheaper to do, So we'll spend time with somebody for 2 days. And the way we kind of map it out is that we're speaking to people in specific precincts that you can get a lot of content in a short space of time. And then we double that with a studio setup where I'm sitting there, I'm doing explainers, so that you can get a super compelling 24-minute episode that could be a TV show that feels very premium, high production value, but isn't that hard for us to pull off. So it's not like each time we're worried whether we can make it. It's very easy. Each of those, we just go for a day and shoot somewhere and make sure that some scenes are filmed, and then it ends up being a compelling show.
So, but in terms of format, I mean, again, just referring back to the show that you can all see on in early October, the Clairefontaine show. Halfway through, you're doing a bit of a trailer, for Zandland, right? Which is, in terms of format for documentary makers who want to move from the traditional commissioning to digital first approach that you're doing. There's some really key format points that they have to, I guess, understand, which is, halfway through a show you can do essentially a read for yourself and subscribe, follow us,
Yeah, and the way we think about it, which I think is a useful way to think about it, is we're building the brand. Our leverage lies in the brand, and in this way there's two brands. There's Human and there's Zandland. Human is a strand within Zandland, and we're trying to build a community of Zandlanders. If we can do that, we have the world at our feet. We can have Zandland on Netflix, Zandland on Hulu, Zandland on the BBC. So in order to do that, we have to make the pitch constantly to the audience as to why they should come towards Zandland. And luckily, we fully believe in the pitch, which is come to Zandland to understand the world in a non-judgmental way, to get access to places you wouldn't usually be able to get to. That ask will change over time. It'll be, please give us some money because we have this subscription element. Please come to this live event. Please buy these T-shirts. So I think a big part of it is just literally believing what you're saying. And I think the beauty we have and the advantage we have over maybe other production companies doing this is we literally fully believe this. This has been the plan for a long time. We want to create a digital brand that people can get behind, that is journalistic, that kind of understands the world in a different way. So everyone is just fully into that premise. So we're constantly shouting about it. So my kind of advice to anybody also wanting to do it is do the thing that you genuinely believe. Because we didn't come to this and go, how do we create a digital brand that Zandland could do? It's like, well, we're making this content anyway. Let's think about how we push the thing that we're really good at in this space, which just helps.
And I think, finally, one of the key premise of Digital First is building a community around your content, which is something you've got a very clear premise in terms of what you deliver as a brand, in terms of Zandland, and that's really super important, isn't it? In terms of brand values and what Zandland means and what viewers can expect from a Zandland show. That's something that you're obviously keen to deliver on every single film.
Yeah, we thought there was a lot of thinking in advance of launching this and thinking about who the hell are we? Why would anyone care? Why would anyone be part of this? And then we went for a kind of high level call to action on the state of the world and trying to create a slightly better place. There's an element of it that's a little bit hippie. There's a journalistic call to action in there, but it's something that we genuinely believe that gets us going every single day, and that we believe is a gap in the market that people can get behind. And it's great. And I think a big part of it was, what is the positioning of the Zandland brand within this, and how do we push that out there in a way people want to get behind? How do we create a community of like-minded individuals? And then we landed on Zandland as a destination. Zandland's a country you can go to meet people who might not be normal, they might not live in a conventional way, but they'll help you understand the world and they'll help you feel understood as well. And it's if we can get people to latch onto that, that's good. We can make that a thing.
I love it. It's a super clear proposition and a real sort of inspiration that hopefully other documentary makers making the move into digital first. And finally, Ben, we're looking forward to seeing you on the 1st November at Next Wave, which is a brand new event that I'm happily curating with Documentary Campus over in Halle in Germany. And we're going to be talking about essentially the next wave of digital documentaries. So, your input on that is going to be really, really crucial and vital, and it's going to be it's a great time. And I'll see you in Germany on the 1st of November.
See you there. Excited for it.
All right. Well, congratulations on the launch of Human, Ben. Great to speak to you, and all the best. Can't wait to hear what's next from Zandland.
Thank you so much.
So my next guest on this week's telecast is Donata van Perfall, Managing Director of Documentary Campus, which is a non-profit organisation based in Munich. It's supported and funded by the European Union's media programme, German and European and film media foundations, private and public broadcasters, production and distribution companies, and lots of local, regional and national authorities, as well as institutions active in the European documentary sector. Donata, welcome to Telecast. How are you doing?
I'm doing super fine, and I love how you pronounce my name. Thank you so much for inviting me to your show.
Not at all. It's wonderful to have you on. And I think a lot of our listeners will be aware of Documentary Campus, but they might not know the detail in terms of what you do in the different events and courses, etc., that you run. So tell us a little bit about it. So Documentary Campus Master School has been running for over 2 decades now. Just give us a bit of background about how it's grown and what Documentary Campus Master School is.
Yeah, happy to. And actually, it's really incredible that it is already 25 years ago when we started it. And you know what? We were called Discovery Campus at that time. Did you know that?
No. Okay. So was it funded by Discovery? It
was sponsored by Discovery at the time to give us a good entree into the market. And the very first project we actually started off with, and which is still the center of our organization, is the Master School, so the Documentary Campus Master School. And this is a 10-month incubation program for projects which have a high-level international potential. And we select 15 projects from all over Europe each year, and they go through a series of training workshops projects in different European cities to get ready for production stage. So you have to imagine that at the end of the training program, the participants have the opportunity to then pitch their projects to international funders, sales agents, and actually more and more also to representatives from foundations.
Okay, so you basically help them shape their documentary programs over a period of time, over a set of courses, and then they're honed and kind of ready to pitch.
Yes, that's it. And over all those years, we constantly, of course, adapt the content to the needs of the development of the international market, so the content of the workshops. And so we also, in this year of 25, we have a very special cohort because for the first time, we're really breaking down the pyramid, which has characterized our industry for so long. This means that for us, feature documentaries for theatrical release, television projects, and digital-first content is now in an equal playing field. And all participants in the program give all those areas serious attention. And this year, for the first time, we have so more digital projects than ever before in the program.
Okay, well, that's great. And that's a particular interest to me, of course.
Yeah, that's why I'm mentioning it.
And the drop. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we heard earlier on from Ben Zand, who's just launched his new documentary series direct to YouTube. And I'm sure there's going to be lots of really creative and interesting projects that's going to be part of the 2025 cohort. So there's a massive range of themes in this year as well, from war trauma and migration to potatoes and friendship. And tell us how you curate and guide such a really diverse range of stories through that master school process.
So actually, the beauty of Documentary Campus is its diversity in topics, whilst our main focus is on the international sales potential of the individual story. So our selection committees are very conscious of selecting projects that will fit into the market. So this commercial orientation sets us also apart from other training programs. And when you imagine that you start with the first workshop, of course, the emphasis is a lot on storytelling and story structure, because at this stage you still have a choice which way to go. So you can go with us not just cinema or television, but also digital first, as I mentioned. And then the following workshops concentrate more on production issues, impact strategies and financing. But what it also makes it outstanding is that during the whole program, the participants are individually created by leading international experts, and they continue to work in parallel to the workshops on the story. So this year, for example, we included experts from Spirit Studios, Little Dot or Quinto Studios.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of experts have been on the website. There's about 20 or 30, I think, on there. There's some very familiar names and in the documentary world. So for those filmmakers that are pitching at Master School, then what sort of impact does this usually have? The process of going through Master School. What sort of stage are these projects at when they're first pitched to you, and how do they develop to the end of the course?
Want to get ahead in digital-first content? The Drop is the go-to newsletter for industry professionals, delivering insider news, trends, and insights straight to your inbox. Navigate the fast-changing landscape of digital-first production, distribution, and monetization. Sign up now for free at dropmedia.co.uk and stay informed with The Drop.
So as said, at the end of the program, the participants pitch their projects for the first time to a large international crowd of financiers and an industry public. And the aim is to get the projects into production, and actually up to 70% of them do. But what I believe is equally important is that during the program, we really plug the participants into a amazing, powerful network, a unique cohort of peers. And for a lot of our alumni, the Master School has been part into growing their business, and it led it into further productions or other projects. But to your question, I think it's better, maybe I give you a couple of examples, even so that's super tricky for me to say, because each project for me stands for its individual success. But having said this, there are good examples which stand for the development process we are going through, or they are going through the master school. So if you don't mind, I give you a couple of them.
Please.
There is, for example, Notes on Blindness, which started as a documentary based on audio recordings. And so the development process within the master school, it went on to become a critically acclaimed immersive project and won prizes around all the A festivals such as Sundance, BAFTA awarded, and screened at Arte and Netflix. Or something completely different, it's Toro. This is a humorous coming-of-age story of two Italian friends and about modern manhood, super funny. And it was just premiered at South by Southwest in London. And this is a super good example of a story which on paper was amazingly difficult to see. But it grew into an important project emphasizing our work, supporting diverse and unexpected nonfiction projects. And both the commissioning editor and distributor came on board via our pitching event, for example. But we also have other projects like Flea, which is a completely animated nonfiction project, and it won a lot of prizes and was also nominated for the Oscars in 3 categories. So I could go on and to impress you with awarded films. What I wanted to say is we develop all kind of formats within the master school, and as you mentioned it, you can find them also on our website.
And so we're coming towards this year's Master School, which is October the 31st, and also on the 1st of November, when we're going to be partnering together on a new addition to Master School, which is Next Wave. And I'm really excited about this. This is a brand new digital first production day focused on factual and the documentary space, and very much focused on digital first factual storytelling. So you approached us to get involved in that. What tell us about why you feel it's the right moment to launch this summit, and how does it complement the Master School and also Silbersalts, which we'll talk a little bit about, because it takes place within a huge event called Silbersalts. But yeah, tell us about Silbersalts and why Next Wave and why now.
Okay, let me start from the beginning. We are actually very attuned with the digital transformation already. And a year ago, I appointed a digital leader and multi-platform producer as our new head of Master School. And since then, we also have digital mentors advising projects. So in this 25 edition, we already have aligned our training program towards the fundamentally shifting market. And therefore, it came very naturally to add to our flagship event, the Master School Pitch, which we spoke about, this new summit we are both working on together, which we now call Next Wave, and to include a day on digital topics. And maybe to explain a bit more, at the core of what we do stands training the industry. With this step, we want to take on the role to champion digital-first content on European mainland. We want to be the go-to place to discuss, to explore, and to exchange ideas how the market is transforming. And the traditional companies need to address it. And since they are used to coming to our event, we are very well positioned to offer this focus on digital storytelling now. And needless to say, Justin, I'm particularly happy that you agreed to curate this summit for us.
Well, it's you know what, one of the reasons why I did this is I love going to Germany, and but more importantly, I thought that your approach is really forward looking. I think there are a number of organizations, training organizations in the TV industry as a whole, who are training people for skills for jobs that are not going to exist in 2, 3, 4 years. And they don't seem to be reacting to, this massive transformation that it's not only happening, it's already happened. And it seems crazy for companies to training people for these roles that aren't going to happen. Whereas you're very much looking at the future, helping filmmakers future-proof their businesses and understand, the new production landscape. So that's, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get involved. And I'm going to run down the execs that are going to come over, because not everybody's from the UK, but it's predominantly UK set of speakers. I'm going to rattle through them very quickly. We've got Kate Beale from Woodcut, really well-known factual production business, who have launched their own YouTube channel. So it's going to be great to talk to Kate about her background and her experience in launching YouTube as a really well-versed and well-respected factual TV producer, and the brand new journey she's taken with YouTube. So that's going to be fascinating. We've got Charlie Hyland from Channel 4 is going to be talking about how Channel 4 is transforming into a digital-first public service streamer. We've got Melissa Chapman from Jungle Creations, Bart Frank from Object. We've got Charlie Reed, brand-funded expert from Upstream UK. We've got Gerrit Kemming, of course, many people will know from Quintus Studios. Ben Zand, who we spoke to earlier on from Zandland. We've got Janine Thomas from Channel 4, who's a documentary commissioner. We obviously have Adam G, who's involved in the Master's School as well. He's going to be helping moderating some of the sessions. And we've got Graham Haig from ITV Studios. We've got Niels Frank from Little Dot Germany. And we've got Olivier Lavard from Full Joy Media from France. He was ex-New and Digital. Serena Jones from the B1M. I mean, there's lots of... and we've got Rory Griffin, who's a YouTuber working in the science space as well. So it's going to be really interesting event. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. It's the same week as the Digital Content Forum, actually. It's on the 1st of November, this event. And so I'm doing 2 conferences in a week. So I'm going to have absolutely no hair left.
You will. And it's an amazing list which you have brought together there. And just to add that, Adam G is actually the head of this year's Master School. So it's a very nice line in here.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to take part in Halle in Germany, near Leipzig, on the 31st of October and the 1st of November. Now, this is part of Silbersalz, which is a wider event. Tell us briefly about Silbersalz.
So the Silbersalz Festival for Science and Media is another project of Documentary Campus. It's in its 8th edition, and of course it's as unique as the Master School. It brings science and fact-based content into the public via all kinds of forms, like films, immersive exhibitions, talk formats, theater, performance, workshop. And it's an incredibly fun and participatory festival where the public exchange with the invited experts on an eye level, and where we invite our audience to change perspectives, to help to find solutions for our worldwide global topics, to be part of the discourse of tomorrow. It's super funny, and I love it a lot to go there myself, even be according it. And each year we also select a special topic of the festival. Should I talk a bit about it? You want to?
Yeah, please.
So this year our main topic of the festival, I Feel the Spark. We concentrate this year on future energy, and that gives a glimpse not only towards the new technologies or innovations which will shape the future, but also one of the biggest challenges of our times, mainly how to transform our societies towards a more sustainable future in all senses. And for that, the curators bring this topic into all parts of our programming. And we accompany our program with renowned scientists. And we also have a significant live program this year, actually. We are hosting 4 live podcasts from Halle during an immersive street theater show. And we are hosting live AV shows at the local planetarium. So for you to imagine, we are playing the city at 14 different locations. We have more than 120 event points over 5 days of the festival, and we expect around 40,000 visitors from 4 years old to 90 years old. So we have something to enjoy for when you come.
Wow. Yeah, I can't wait. It sounds brilliant. Mm-hmm. So Documentary Campus has always been about networking and collaboration over this past 20, 25 years. How are you designing these events in Halle to encourage, real cross-border partnerships?
It's all about networking in the end, as you said. The concept for me is super simple. I see us as a daily growing, big, curious, open-minded family, which comes together for a couple of days, and we schedule the program for it. And this is reflected in combining all our offers in Halle to bringing the Master School, Next Wave and Silbersalz together, to being a cross-sectional event where we do work with artists, creative technologists, scientists, filmmakers, and creators. So to learn from each other, to inspire, to exchange, to create, and to network on projects, being part of a process. And super important to have fun, to create comfortable spaces and experiences. And we party together a lot, Justin. So we have very, very great social events.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's going to be Halloween as well.
Yeah, so please dress up.
Yeah, well, I don't need too much makeup, really.
No, you don't, but you should come up with a really amazing dress, please.
So finally, Donata, what do you personally hope participants will take away from Halle this year, from Master School, from Next Wave, and overall from Silbersalz?
Okay, the Master School and Next Wave have an industry audience, and Silbersalz is addressing the public. So, but what I really hope, what brings it to the core, is that you go home feeling inspired and empowered, and that you feel being part of a community.
Okay, fantastic. And for anybody who wants to find out more, they just need to go to documentary-campus.com and they'll find all the information up there.
Yes,
so,
and could I add something, Justin? I just say the call for entries for the Master School 26 is out now. They find that also on our website. And of course, I invite everyone to come with us to Halle in October to join this amazing festival, the Master School Pitch and our Next Wave Summit.
Thank you so much. It's been really great to chat with you. As I say, I can't wait. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to 2-3 days over in Halle, which is near Leipzig in Germany. So looking forward to that.
And next time, hopefully in person with a glass of wine in our hands, huh?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I'll 100% make sure that happens. Donata, thank you so much for spending time with us, and I look forward to seeing you at the end of October.
Me too.
Well, that's about it for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with another episode later this week as we catch up with Julie Meldal-Johnson as ITV Studios reveals the highlights of their new scripted, unscripted and format slate. This telecast was recorded in London and produced by me at home. Until later this week, stay safe.